and welcome to my weekly Q&A. I would really love a title for this series, so if anyone has any ideas, please feel free to send them my way. I would love to hear it. For now, I'm going to get on to the question for this week, which was sent to me in a Facebook message. It's about craniosacral therapy, and it says, I'm curious if it helps with trauma and anxiety, or is it more related to body ailments? Now, I love this question because I am endlessly fascinated by how emotions show up in our bodies. There's also an increasing amount of research in this area, which has a very fancy word, and it's called, get ready for this, it's psychoneuroendocrinimunology. So try saying that 10 times fast, right? And all that really means is the study of how emotions that are stored in our bodies affect the health of the whole system. And up until recently, this was not something that was really accepted by science, and now they have this great big word for it. But we are finding that there are literal, physical, biological mechanisms that our body uses to store emotions, and primarily that is to protect us. When we're not allowed to express these emotions, they end up getting stuck, right? So if you've ever said, oh, I feel sad and I feel like I have a lump in my throat, right? Whether or not you believe that lump is physically there, it still feels like it's there. It's showing up in your body in a very physical way. So I want to talk a little bit about the difference between a suppressed emotion and a repressed emotion. Both of these can get stuck in our bodies, but I do think it's important to talk about the difference. A suppressed emotion is one that is consciously withheld. It means I feel really angry at you, but I am choosing not to say something to keep the peace, or whatever the reason is. The reason doesn't really matter. The point is that it's not being expressed. Now, a repressed emotion is one that is subconsciously withheld. It means that you might not even be aware that you're angry, and so it's coming out as a completely different emotion, or as a behavior, or as a movement pattern, or something like that. So is this something that craniosacral therapy can help with? The short answer is yes, it absolutely can. I also want to say that I never make sweeping promises about anything because healing is very different for everyone. It's an individual thing. So it's going to be different from person to person. But when we're talking about creating movement or facilitating movement in the body, that can also create the opportunity for an emotion to be released. Also, because we're bringing the body down from a state of fight or flight and into a place where it can safely process these emotions, that's another way that that emotional release can happen. When I was working on my certification, actually one of my favorite classes that I took was in supporting emotional release, because I love the different ways that people come up with to talk about the experiences that they're having in their bodies. It's a creative thing, and it's an intuitive thing. This is also one of the reasons that I believe creativity is such an important part of our overall health. It is a way to express and to process these emotions so that they don't get stuck in the body unnecessarily. So I hope that answers the question about what craniosacral therapy can do for things like trauma, anxiety, any other emotional experience that a client may be having. It's also one of my absolute favorite topics. So if anyone has any more questions about this, please feel free to send them my way. I would love to answer it.